Okay, let's start with a wild idea. What if I told you that one of the absolute biggest countries in the world, a place known for its epic, sprawling wilderness, gets its name from a word that just means village? Today, we're jumping right into the incredible story of Canada.
Believe it or not, it's true. The name Canada actually comes from kanata, an Indigenous Huron-Iroquois word that means village or settlement. And that humble origin, that simple idea, is the key to understanding everything about this place. It's a fascinating mix of close-knit community and just mind-boggling vastness. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to try to wrap our heads around the massive scale of this village. Then, we'll dive into its incredible natural landscapes, wander through its cities, uncover a few surprising secrets, and then we'll end by asking, what's your Canadian adventure going to look like? All right, Section 1, a nation called Village. Let's get right into that big contradiction. How can a country named Village be one of the giants of the world? Well, to really get it, you've got to look at the sheer scale of the place. It all starts with this one fact. Canada is the second largest country on the entire planet. I mean, it stretches from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the Pacific, and then clear up into the Arctic. That is one enormous village. So when you have all that room, what do you fill it with? Well, that brings us right into Section 2, Nature's Grand Showcase. Canada's massive size is home to some of the most jaw-dropping natural scenery you will ever see. Let's start with the water. Get ready for this number. Canada has an estimated 2 million lakes. That is more than every other country in the world combined. It's a number that's so big it's kind of hard to even imagine. And all that water? It has a huge global impact. All those lakes hold about 20% of the world's entire supply of fresh water. Just think about that for a second. 1/5 of all the fresh water on Earth is right here. And a whole lot of this natural beauty is protected in some world-famous national parks. You can see the iconic Rocky Mountains in Banff, which was Canada's very first national park. Or you could chase the Northern Lights in Jasper. Or even set up camp in Golden, BC, and have 6 incredible parks right at your fingertips. The possibilities are, well, endless. And then, of course, you've got the icons, the spots the whole world knows about. I love how our source material puts it. Wonders like Niagara Falls really don't need much of an introduction. That raw, thundering power of Horseshoe Falls is something you just have to feel for yourself. And the adventures aren't just in one place, they're whole journeys. Way over on the other side of the country, on Cape Breton Island, you can drive the Cabot Trail. It's this incredible 300-kilometer road that just snakes its way through the coastal mountains. But hey, the story of Canada isn't just about mountains and lakes. For Section 3, we're diving into its urban soul, a collection of cities that are just as diverse and exciting as the landscapes that surround them. And Canada's cities are really a study in contrasts. I mean, on one hand, you have Quebec City with its old stone walls and cobblestone streets. It feels like you've been dropped right into a European storybook. And on the other hand, you've got Toronto, a super modern, buzzing city filled with sleek glass skyscrapers. Let's take a closer look at Quebec City. It's basically a living piece of history. It's the only walled city north of Mexico. You can take a walk along the Dufresne Terrace for these amazing views of the St. Lawrence River, explore military history at the Citadel, or just chill out in a park that was actually a historic battlefield. From history, let's jump straight to the future. Toronto's icon is the CN Tower, rocketing 553 meters into the sky. It's just a marvel of engineering, and from the top, you get this incredible 360-degree view of the whole city sprawling out below you, right next to the massive Lake Ontario. It's a totally different kind of Canadian view. And finally, let's head out to the West Coast, to Vancouver. This is a city where that line between urban living and wild nature just completely vanishes. The city feels like one giant park. Whether you're exploring the 1,000-acre wilderness of Stanley Park or getting your thrills walking across the Capilano Suspension Bridge, swaying high above a forest canyon. Okay, so we've seen the epic landscapes and the amazing cities. Now, in Section 4, let's peel back one more layer. It's time for some of Canada's most surprising secrets, the little quirky details that show you a totally different side of the country. All right, so you think you know Canada. Let's put that to the test. I've got 3 quick facts for you. Let's see how many you've heard before. First one up, way up north in Nunavut and the Northwest Territories, the license plates aren't boring old rectangles. They are literally shaped like polar bears. How cool is that? Next up,
Think you have to fly to the Middle East to float effortlessly in salt water? Nope. Head to Saskatchewan. There's a place called Little Manitou Lake, and it's so full of minerals and salt that you physically cannot sink. It's Canada's very own Dead Sea.
And for our last one, this is going to blow your mind. Because of the lingering effects of ancient glaciers from the Ice Age, the area around Hudson Bay has the weakest gravity on the entire planet. Yes, you would technically weigh just a tiny bit less if you stood there. Wild, right?
So, from its massive scale and wild nature to its incredible cities and truly quirky secrets, we've kind of seen how this one country holds so many different worlds. And that brings us to our last section. What does this all mean for you, the traveler?
You know, this quote from our source material really just nails it. Canada isn't one single destination. It's a massive collection of them. It's the perfect proof of how a place that started with the name village can grow to contain pretty much anything you can imagine.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Whether you're pulled in by the quiet majesty of a mountain peak or the electric energy of a city street, the question really isn't if there's an adventure for you in Canada, but which one you're going to choose first. Thanks for joining me.